The drone industry is a fast emerging industry across the globe, from manufacturing of drones to drone implementations to states coming up with regulations to regulate their use. Africa has not been left behind in this regard. More specifically, East Africa hasn't, and we as Astral Aerial are proud to be a part of this drone revolution. So Astral Aerial is a Kenyan drone operator and drone services provider. We are also a subsidiary of Astral Aviation, which is a cargo airline that has been operating in Kenya for close to 20 years. So what is a drone? A drone is a remotely piloted aircraft system where the pilot operating the drone is on the ground and controls the aircraft, which is in the air. It can also be controlled autonomously by using mission planning and mission control software together with autopilot software. For the purposes of this presentation, let us think of the drone as a tool. A tool that can be fitted with different equipment to perform different functions. So a drone can be fitted with a cargo hold to be able to ferry items from one point to another. It can also be used to lift items, for example, power transmission cables from the ground to a point at a high height. When fitted with camera payloads or sensors, you can be able to collect aerial imagery with which you can be able to perform different functions. So for example, with a camera, you can be able to perform infrastructural inspections for, let's say, telecom communication masts and identify issues such as corrosion on the masts. With a thermal sensor fitted on a drone, you can be able to identify issues like thermal stress in your equipment. In a search and rescue situation, with a drone fitted with a thermal sensor, you can be able to fly the drone above the region where you want to search for possible survivors. And with the thermal sensor, you can be able to collect the heat signatures of any survivors and therefore make it easy for you to carry out a search and rescue operation. In agriculture, drones can be fitted with multispectral sensors. And with the sensors, you can be able to monitor the health of your crops and also identify issues on the farm where you have things like weed pressure or early pest and disease infestation. Note that with these multispectral sensors, you can be able to detect such issues at the very early onset, even before you can visually see problems with the crops. So that's how drones can be used in different sectors. So we've looked at the technology, we've looked at how it is implemented. Let us take a step back and look at the industry that you're working in East Africa. And we'll begin with our regulatory landscape. How do drone regulations look for us? In Uganda, there are no drone regulations in place. However, if you want to operate a drone recreationally, it is possible to get a permit to do so. In Rwanda, they have had ARPAS regulations since 2016. In Tanzania, on the other hand, they've had regulations since last year, 2018. Here in Kenya, we've just recently gotten our draft ARPAS regulations released by KCAA just this month, which is a huge milestone for us in the drone industry. Who are the key drone industry players? We'll begin with Ethiopia. In Ethiopia, WFP are carrying out a Sesefly project where they use drones to deliver sterile seseflies in sesefly-infested areas so they can control the growth of the population of that particular insect. In Rwanda, they have the Zipline project where they use drones to deliver blood in emergency situations. In Tanzania, there's the Lake Victoria Challenge where drone operators and drone manufacturers are given a set of challenges, and if your drone can be able to meet the specification, you can bring your drone to the challenge and showcase what it can do. Here in Kenya, Astral Aerial, I've just recently joined the World Bank 1 Million Farmers Initiative. This is a platform where agri-services providers who are in the disruptive industry technology space provide services to farmers with the with the purpose of improving their farming methods such that they're able to increase their productivity, reduce the risk of loss or wastage of their crop, and also alleviate poverty in farmers. So we are proud to be a part of this project. So what are the challenges that we face in this industry? One of the biggest challenges we've had is regulations. If you are aware, the Kenyan RPAS regulations they were annulled last year, but we are happy that this month they have been able to release draft RPAS regulations. So that kind of instability has been a huge challenge for us. Again, perception. So drones are perceived usually as instruments of destruction or as recreational toys. So we need to have a shift in mindsets and kind of understand the value that we can get from this technology. Training. This is a multi-billion shilling industry, as I have mentioned. And once it takes off, we are going to have huge opportunities opening up. And we need to be able to have the capacity to fill in, to take advantage of these opportunities. So training is a huge requirement and it is a huge challenge. Tech adoption. We all know that adopting a new way of doing things is usually a challenge, but for us, we are always ready to educate. We're always ready to participate in forums like this where we're able to give information on what we do. And we also do a lot of proof of concept and pilot projects so that we can be able to showcase the value of our solutions. So what is the impact of the drone industry in East Africa? If we tap into the industry, we'll be able to empower the youth to use this new technology. We'll also be able to create jobs. The youth will keep in tandem with this technology as well as come up with new innovations and new ways to use the tech. And it will also set a solid foundation for this industry as it is evolving. The team that makes up Astral Aerial. So we have a team of experienced aviation professionals from our CEO, Mr. Sanjeev Gadhia, who has had a lot of experience in the aviation industry, close to 20 years, and other aviation experts, as well as myself, a mechanical engineer, who's standing right here in front of you. So in conclusion, Astral Aerial provides solutions using drone technology. But what we care about is providing our youth with the skills to tap into this industry. So the onus is on us as business leaders, as technology experts and technology enthusiasts, as well as government stakeholders, to invest in this industry and create these opportunities for our youth. And in that way, we'll be able to steer the region into the future.
Part of our mandate also involves protections of life at sea. There's that aspect you say you do sort of surveillance, something like that. Is it also possible to have one also doing manning the water body, at least in the search and rescue processes, at least to sort of preempt in case of an incident, sort of the search and rescue processes can sort of come in handy. And then secondly, whenever ship come, there's sort of the mass, these chains sort of before they're allowed to harbor in. That reason behind that is also we do sort of inspection. But the problem with the challenge that we have with that is that this one, there's sort of that physical inspection involved in that in. But I was like, being the drone aspect, the technology aspect of it, I was thinking, is it possible like to have a drone running or screening the ship, identifying the goods, sort of something like that? Is it something that can work out? Okay. And then the last question goes to Esri. The geomapping and location identification, especially in terms of search and rescue processes. Is it possible to map the water body, both Kenyan water body, the internal and external, especially in the search and rescue processing?
Thank you for your question. So to answer the first question, yes, you can be able to use a drone for, let's say, a search and rescue operation, as I have mentioned. For a drone, as long as it can be able to carry a camera payload, it can achieve a certain range, then you can be able to use it for different applications. So yes, in a search and rescue situation during the day, you can have it carry a camera and search for survivors, and also stream that information to you at a, let's say, a control station as you monitor what it is seeing. During the night time, again, you can have a thermal, a drone fitted with a thermal imaging camera, so that it can be able to detect where the victims are. In terms of inspection of the ships, you can also be able to do that during using the infrastructural inspection drone. It's very possible. Yeah.
What are the requirements or the legal provisions that one has to consider before implementing drone technology or owning equipment and operating their activities, for instance, photography and videography?
According to the the draft ARPAS regulations, you have to get approval by the regulator to import a drone, and that is generally a process of giving them specifications of what kind of drone you want to bring in and the purposes you want to bring it in for, and also ensure that you have licensed personnel who are responsible for flying the drone, essentially. So it's kind of a process, and you have to show that you have the capability to take up that responsibility to own a drone. In terms of what it takes for you to fly a drone, you have to go through the training. You have to be issued with a license. Essentially, it's like a pilot license. It's an ARPAS pilot license. So you have to show that you are able to operate responsibly in the aviation space in terms of the mindset that you have, and you also have the skills to fly the drone. So that's what getting trained and getting an ARPAS pilot license entails. Thank you.